Good evening and thank you for joining us. A $1.6 billion project that will bring more reliable power to First Nations communities is one step closer to becoming a reality.
Minister of Indigenous Services Seamus O'Regan was in the city today to finalize the terms of the federal government support for the province's largest First Nations-led transmission project. Alana Pickrell reports.
It's been more than a year since the Canadian and Ontario government announced $1.6 billion for a project that will improve the lives in 17 First Nation communities. And with this official signing between Waitanakini Power and the Government of Canada, shovels could be in the ground as early as this fall to start connecting diesel-dependent First Nation communities to Ontario's power grid. Margaret Kennequinosh, the CEO for Waitanakini Power, says it's been over 10 years in the works and it's time to start bringing more reliable power.
I always say that if there's a power outage, it comes to the health and safety of the people. The water, the food, the shelter that they have gets compromised, so there will be an improvement of that.
The project will build approximately 1,800 kilometers of transmission lines in Northwestern Ontario. It will reinforce the existing transmission grid to Pickle Lake and expand north of Pickle Lake and Red Lake. The chairperson of First Nations Limited Partnership and a member of Wainamin First Nation says finally being connected to Ontario's power grid will solve more than one problem for his community.
For us is that we don't have to go through blackouts, when the power shuts down, or worry about fuel deliveries.
This is a solution that Minister of Indigenous Services Seamus O'Regan says is a top priority.
And I think the important thing is not only will they be hooked up to clean electricity through the Ontario power grid, they'll be getting off diesel, and that's really important.
Many say this partnership will help set an example of how government and First Nations can do business. The project model was designed specifically with the First Nations in mind.
It's Indigenous-led at the moment, and then over the course of years, Indigenous parties will be able to take over full control of the project itself.
If everything goes to plan, all 17 communities should be hooked up to the power grid by 2023. Alana Pickrell, TBT News.
Meanwhile, O'Regan was in Attawapiskat First Nation yesterday, trying to develop a plan to fix the water crisis in the community. The remote First Nation declared a state of emergency earlier this month over concerns about chemicals in the water. O'Regan says he listened to several community members during his visit, trying to find both long-term and short-term solutions. The chief of Attawapiskat says the immediate concerns must be the top priority. And O'Regan says those plans are already in the works.
There's the immediate things that needs to be done as far as making sure that the people feel safe and don't have to be afraid and drinking the water right now.
In the short term, we're bringing up more healthcare professionals to take a look at kids and families and to allay concerns that community members may have about their health. That's a primary concern. Also, a primary concern is making sure that the water system, as it is right now, is improved.
O'Regan adds there are also several long-term issues like finding an alternative water source and potentially a new water treatment plant. He notes $1.5 million has been put aside to make improvements to the water system.